Hello, curious minds and hearts hungry for knowledge. Welcome to another episode of What If, the channel where we explore the mysteries of the universe, history and faith, always with that question that ignites our imagination. Today, we will embark on a fascinating journey through the desert. Not just a desert of sand and scorching sun, but a desert of possibilities and one of the most enigmatic and debated provisions in sacred history. What if manna, the mysterious bread from heaven that fed an entire nation for 40 years in the desert, was more than an inexplicable miracle, but a profound lesson about divine provision and God's wisdom, with aspects that even modern science can help us admire. If you are hungry to understand God's miracles in a way that nourishes both faith and mind, subscribe to What If, and activate the bell so you don't miss any of our investigations. Let's savor the mysteries of divine provision together. To begin our journey, we need to go to the source, the books of Exodus chapter 16 and Numbers chapter 11. Imagine the scene: the people of Israel, newly freed from slavery in Egypt in the vast and inhospitable Sinai desert. The euphoria of freedom gives way to the fear of hunger. They murmur against Moses and Aaron, remembering the pots of meat in Egypt, accusing them of bringing them into the desert to die of hunger. It is in this context of despair that God intervenes. So, what exactly was this manna? The Bible describes it in a peculiar way. In Exodus 16 we read that after the dew had risen, upon the face of the wilderness there was a small round thing, as fine as frost on the ground. It appeared with the dew covering the ground, a frightening sight for a starving people. The instructions for gathering it were clear: 1 omer, about 2 to 3 liters per person daily. On Fridays, double that amount, because on Saturday, the day of rest, the manna would not appear. Miraculously, the extra portion on Friday did not spoil, unlike what happened if someone tried to save it for the next day on other days, when it would breed worms and smell bad. And the taste? Exodus 16 says that it was like white coriander seed, and its taste was like wafers made with honey. Numbers 11 adds that the people ground it, crushed it, boiled it and made cakes, and its taste was like the taste of fresh oil, a versatile substance allowing for some preparation. These divine instructions: gather what was needed daily, do not hoard it, gather double on Friday and respect the Sabbath, were not arbitrary. They taught dependence, obedience, and the sanctity of time. Manna was food for the body and a teacher for the soul. Now, for the deeper meaning. Manna is one of the most powerful demonstrations of God's providence and faithfulness. Think about it: millions of people wandering through a desert that could not sustain such a population for 40 years. The logistics would be a nightmare. There were no supermarkets, no supply trains, and no agriculture. This is where manna reveals itself to be a clear act of divine intervention. Sustenance in extreme conditions where survival is precarious. Feeding a nation, day after day, with a substance that appeared miraculously, transcends any natural explanation of the time. This was God showing His care. His faithfulness was manifested each morning. Manna came in direct response to the cry of the people. God understands our needs and meets them in surprising ways. The biblical account is emphatic: manna was sufficient. No one went hungry, and those who tried to hoard did not benefit. A divine economy, adjusted to need, teaching trust. For 40 years, this nation witnessed a continuous food miracle. Of course, there have been attempts to explain the manna through naturalistic phenomena. Some theories include plant resins, such as that of the tamarisk, which exudes a sweet substance when bitten by insects. Sounds promising? But there are difficulties. The quantity of this resin is tiny, insufficient for millions. Its production is seasonal, not daily, for 40 years with a break on the Sabbath. Its preservation and preparation properties also do not match the biblical description. Other ideas, such as insect secretions or wind-borne lichens, face similar problems of quantity, regularity, taste, and crucially, the abrupt cessation when they reached Canaan. It is important to note that these explanations are valid attempts to find natural parallels. However, they are insufficient to cover all the aspects of the biblical account: the massive quantity, the regularity for 40 years, the interruption on the Sabbath, the specific preservation of the Sabbath portion, the rapid decay on other days, the flavor, the versatility, and the definitive cessation. These factors, taken together, point to something that transcends known natural phenomena. To try to reduce manna to this is to miss the dimension of the extraordinary. But what if manna was not just any food, but a kind of primordial superfood, a divinely designed nutrition optimized for survival? The Bible does not give a chemical analysis, but we can respectfully speculate. To sustain a population for 40 years, manna would need to provide a full spectrum of essential nutrients. The fact that the people survived and multiplied suggests its nutritional robustness. What if God, in His wisdom, formulated it to be perfectly bioavailable? Science today is looking for functional foods. What if manna was the original? Could manna contain compounds that helped with desert adaptation, such as electrolytes, or substances that strengthened the immune system? Its flavor, like honey cakes or fresh olive oil, could indicate easily digestible carbohydrates and healthy fats. What if it was the pinnacle of survival food? Light, nutritious, easy to prepare, suitable for nomadism. Interestingly, despite its miraculous nature, the people complained about monotony in Numbers 11. But now our soul is dried up. There is nothing but this manna before our eyes. They missed the variety of Egypt. This does not detract from the nutritional quality of manna. Even the best superfood, if consumed exclusively, can tire. Human complaint highlights that God's provision was for survival and health, but contentment is more complex. So what if manna was a masterpiece of divine science, a food with a unique composition that our science is barely beginning to conceive of? We cannot prove it, but reflection increases our admiration for divine wisdom. God did not give something to eat. He may have provided the ideal food for the circumstances. Manna is such a powerful symbol of God's provision. Thinking about its possible nature as a divine superfood is breathtaking, don't you think? Now, I want to hear from you. How do you imagine this miraculous food manifested itself, and what are the greatest lessons you take from this story of manna for your life of faith today? Share with us in the comments. We love reading your perspectives and learning together. Beyond any speculation, manna is fundamentally a rich source of spiritual lessons. First, daily dependence on God. Gathering only enough for one day taught us to trust God for each day's provision, not for hoarding. It reminds us of "Give us this day our daily bread." Second, obedience to the commandments. The rules for gathering, especially the Sabbath, were tests of obedience, a practical training in following God's directions. Third, contentment with God's provision. Though the people struggled, the ideal was to learn contentment. The manna was sufficient. Murmuring revealed a heart that still looked back. Fourth, and perhaps the most profound lesson, manna as a type of Christ, the bread of life. In the Gospel of John, chapter 6, Jesus directly refers to manna, saying, "Our fathers ate manna in the wilderness. Moses did not give you the bread from heaven, but my Father gives you the true bread from heaven. I am the bread of life. He who comes to me will never hunger, and he who believes in me will never thirst." Just as manna sustained Israel physically, Jesus Christ is essential spiritual sustenance. Manna was temporary, Christ is eternal. Manna fed for life in the wilderness, Christ for life eternal. The lessons of manna, dependence, obedience, contentment, and the foreshadowing of the bread of life, are timeless. Our journey into the mystery of manna has taken us from the Sinai desert to nutritional speculation to the depths of theology. We have seen manna as an extraordinary act of divine providence. Attempts at naturalistic explanations stumble before the magnitude and unique characteristics of biblical manna. Speculating about its composition as a superfood does not diminish the miracle. It increases our awe of divine wisdom. Ultimately, manna is above all a testament to God's loving and miraculous care. Any scientific or historical reflection should serve to deepen our admiration for His work, not diminish it. The "what if" of manna reminds us that God's provision can take unexpected forms, perfectly suited to our needs. What food for the soul and mind it was to explore the mystery of manna. I hope you felt as nourished by this reflection as I did. If this video touched your heart and expanded your mind, Share it with those who need to know more about divine provision and how faith and reason can walk together in admiration of God's mysteries. Don't forget to leave your comment. We really want to know what you thought. And stay tuned to What If for more feasts of wisdom, exploring the great questions of life, the universe, and faith. Until next time, and may your journey always be full of discoveries and wonderful provisions. Bye, everyone.